What a summer. And by the way, talking of summer, look at the setting that we've got here. 32 degrees in Spain, and we're loving every minute of it. So we're going to get straight into the announcements. It's been a busy summer, and I've had to make some notes because there's been so much going on. So excuse me for keep looking at the notes. So first of all, let's talk about season tickets. So 20,000 sold is incredible. Yeah, we could have sold it. We could have sold the house. We could have sold the lot. So 12,000 on the waiting list. It leaves 6,000 for general sale. So this season, every home game is going to be a sellout. The atmosphere is going to be electric. So anything going on last season, it was just an incredible experience. Yeah. So obviously going on to some of the other big announcements, it's probably the biggest announcement. So Knighthead Capital and the UK government investing, millions into the infrastructure, new stadium, the new sports quarter. It's only going to make us stronger. So, the good times are definitely rolling, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, second point, the kit. Obviously, the kit was revealed. My first impressions, wasn't convinced. Thought it looked a bit bland compared to other teams' kits that have come out. Other kits have got like detail in the material and in the background and stuff like that. So I was a bit underwhelmed when I seen the pictures when they were leaked. But now we've got it. The print is quality. The badge, the embroidery, the gold. It looks sick, to be fair. And to be honest, you wouldn't expect anything different from the club now or Nike. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's definitely grown on me. I think a point that you made out, because you like white shorts, don't you?
Yeah.
So Alfie's a big fan of white shorts, but I kind of get it. We're royal blue. With the Blues, it should all be blue, shouldn't it? So, I can understand that. And we needed a classy kit for the anniversary, and I think it is classy, to be honest with you. So, so the thing that's probably shook the EFL most of all is going to be our summer signings. We've put a massive statement out yet again. So, loads of EFL clubs, all the EFL YouTubers, championship content, all talking about the Blues, all got them in the top 4. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a statement from the club. So going to run through some of the signings. So Bigfoot, Phil Neumann came in, and then James Beadle, obviously back off the under-21 European Championships winner with Jay. Then we've obviously got a bit of a homecoming with Damari Gray, which is great. So we've got Tommy Doyle. So talking to some Wolves fans, at work, they reckon we've got a hell of a player. Their style of playing the Premiership, because they're a counter-attacking outfit now and they don't have much of the ball, Doyle wasn't really utilised. But for a possession-based team like the Blues, I really think we're going to have a real talented player on our hands that's just going to tick it over in midfield for us. So obviously we've got Fujimoto. So I've not seen much of him, I'll be honest with you, but I've seen a lot of hype. Obviously he's not match fit at the moment, so he's missed a bit of pre-season. So the jury will be out on him, but hopefully gets off to a flyer. Bright Samuel. So Bright Asay Samuel. Obviously had a bit of time with QPR. Then he went to Fenerbahce, I believe, in Turkey under Mourinho. So he ain't no mug. In some of the highlights that we've seen, he's fast, he's powerful. So I think in every signing that I've just mentioned so far, they're an upgrade. They're a definite upgrade on that strongest 11 from League One last season. So I suppose the statement signing is going to be Kyogo.
Yeah.
And we're just so excited to see him go. Talking to Celtic fans, watching his highlights. The lad is just quick. He's got quick touches, quick feet, and his goals are all different, aren't they? They're all different. Yeah. So going through the signings and Alf. So Neumann, what excites you about Neumann, and what do you think he can bring?
I think Neumann can bring that like stability at the back, so he can play as a right wing back and a left wing back, and he just has pace, strength, height, and he's good on the ball as well. So yeah.
And just to let you know, Alf has been a fangirl from the start. He's looked at all his highlights from the Bundesliga and he's been on about him all of last season when it was announced, and he's like, I can't wait to see him, can't wait to see him. You know, giving me all his stats, you know, his height, showing me his goal reels and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, going straight into, you know, the Seville match that we seen the other, the friendly in Portugal.
Yeah.
You know, I think he showed, you know, what he was capable of, and that's just early days, isn't it? So, James Beadle, I'll go first on this one. So, from what I've seen, the under-21 games in the tournament, you know, he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. Shot stopping, you know, is really good. His distribution is not as good as Allsop. You know, he could play out from the back, and there was times he was put under pressure by Spain, especially in the final, and he coped with it quite well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to have too much of an issue. But obviously, the friend that we just saw in Portugal, you know, he made that mistake, didn't he? But let's be honest, all keepers make a mistake, and he gets highlighted as the worst thing in the world, doesn't it? So, what's your thoughts on Beadle?
I didn't really watch much of him really. I've watched a few Sheffield Wednesday highlights. He didn't really play good there, but I think with the style of football that we play, I think it will develop him, because there we'll just have to hoof it, and yeah, that's all I've watched of James Beadle.
No, it's fair comment, and so you know, it's going to have to be something special to get, you know, Ryan Allsop out of the number one position for me anyway. So Damari Gray, obviously you're probably too young to remember him when he played for us, but obviously he was electric. And let's be honest, guys, we only sold him because the club was in dire straits. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, obviously he went on to bigger and better things with Leicester and Everton. You know, and then obviously went to Dubai. You know, so in the Saudi League. So, what's your thoughts on him?
I've watched him play for Everton. I think if he does what he did at Everton, we are desperate for a player like him. Someone who won't pass it back when they don't need to. Someone who will just pull the trigger outside the box. But yeah, I'm excited to see him.
I think, if I'm totally honest, I want him to be successful. I think he's young enough, he's quick enough, he looks strong enough to still contribute. His stats for assists and goals in his career don't make for good reading, to be honest. But do you know what? You know, if he can kind of reinvent himself for the project, you know, we could have a solid player on our hands. I think of all of the signings, he could be the weak link though. Do you know what I mean? He could be the one that didn't quite work out, but I hope I'm wrong. You know, his interview when he came back, you know, his class, he said all the right things. Do you know what I mean? He's got to follow up through his word now, hasn't he? So, for me, one of the best signings. Obviously, I know it's only a loan deal, but Tommy Doyle. So I spoke to a couple of Wolves fans at work, and they said the only reason that he didn't play much in the Premier League is because in the Premier League they've become more of an counter-attacking team, because they don't have much possession, and the amount of running he had to do, you know, he wasn't competing, and I think he got found out against Forest, and Forest smashed them. So, you know, from what I'm saying, from what I'm hearing, is that when a team's got possession and he's a ball-playing midfielder and he wants the ball all the time, he's definitely going to be able to tick it over in midfield, you know, and make the difference. So, you know, I think we've got a quality player on our hands there. Fujimoto, jury's out for me on that one, because I haven't seen a lot of him, but I've seen a lot of hype. Apparently, he's quick and he's creative. So hopefully he links up well, you know, with the forward players. So what do you know about him? What have you seen, or what have you heard?
I've watched a few highlights of him. He mostly just links up with a winger, 1-2s and stuff like that. He doesn't really shoot that much. He mostly just puts a striker in behind, which I think will help Kyogo. Yeah,
cool. I think from what I'm hearing as well, the reason why he's not figured in the Portugal friendly is because he hadn't had much pre-season. So, you know, obviously some of the lads, you know, arrived late, like Gray, been on international duty with Jamaica, and the two Japanese lads, they come into the camp a little bit later. So kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So, Bright Asay Samuel, obviously he's no stranger to the championships. He played at QPR. Obviously, he ain't no mug because he went to Turkey under Mourinho. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, in his contributions, his assists, he looks powerful. You know, so again, I think he's definitely an upgrade on the right hand side. Is he better than Laird at right back? I don't know. He's pretty solid, Laird, isn't he? But it's definitely competition for places.
Two similar players.
You know, I mean, he can play further up apparently. You know, so can Laird. Let's be honest. You know, Laird contributed, you know, with the goals and the assists last season. So,
yeah.
you know, the right hand side,
Competitive.
you know, is competitive. I mean, the left hand side, apart from the left back position, hopefully Buchanan, you know, gets fit, because I do really like him as a player, and I think Davies does as well. We are a bit weaker. Obviously, we've only one left back, but obviously, you know, fair play to Alpha Chang. He fitted in on the friendly at left back, so he's willing to give that a go as a cover.
Yeah.
You know, so Laird can play there. We've got Stansted. Do you know what I mean? So we have got cover. I just don't know if we're going to be as electric going forward down that left-hand side. But, you know, not forgetting Keshi, you know, one of our best players last season. Do you know what I mean? So, probably the standout marquee signing is Kyogo Furunashi. So, you know, Celtic are absolutely gutted that he hasn't come back to them. Didn't work out in Rennes. Again, I think the manager changed the style, tried him as a number 10, didn't work. Celtic are telling us that he's an out-and-out number 9. So hopefully Chris Davies knows that, you know, from his time at Celtic, talking to, you know, people who know him and watching his, you know, his highlights and stuff like that. I think we've got a hell of a player on our hand.
Yeah.
His touch, his pace, you know, he's quick. He's got quick thinking. Champions League experience. He scored goals in the big games against Rangers and in Champions League games as well. So, you know, he's definitely the marquee signing. He's definitely the exciting one, isn't he? Yeah. Obviously, just going to tap onto the Portugal, friendly in Portugal with Seville FC, however you pronounce it. You know, obviously 3-1 against a La Liga type team. You know, he's nothing to be sniffed at. Do you know what I mean? And I know pre-season friendlies, you know, don't mean a lot, do they? But, you know, they didn't see us coming, did they? They wasn't prepared. They thought, League One team, third tier English football, you know, we're going to roll these over. It's just going to be a practice match. Do you know what I mean? But it was full of tempo, aggression. Do you know what I mean? You know, the first 11 from that match, you know, was very, very similar to, you know, the League One team from last season. Obviously, Neumann played, and obviously we made all the different changes at second half, which we're going to make. You know, but for me, from watching the match, it was the same kind of, you know, patient build up that we seen last year, but it was definitely quicker.
Yeah,
I think we were definitely quicker on the ball, passing it, moving a lot quicker. And I think as we go up the tiers from the Championship to the Premier League now, you know, definitely watching us against Newcastle, that is the difference.
Yeah.
You know, we can pass it about. You know, we've got the awareness. You know, the manager's, you know, brilliant. He's got the tactical knowledge. So players have just got to be a little bit more switched on, a little bit, you know, changing the play from front to back, a little bit quicker. You know, I think we're going to be on to a good thing, because if we do, we are fortunate in the next couple of seasons to go into the Premier League again. You know, if we haven't got the personnel, it looks like, you know, Tom Wagner's not messing about here. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, there's going to be some players that are going to miss out. You know, we've already hearing that Peacock Farrell's on his way out, you know, to Blackpool on loan. You know, there's going to be other players. I think Hansen might struggle. There's talk of, you know, Alfie May might struggle. Lyndon Dykes might struggle. Personally, I think they can all offer something in the Championship, and we've got the depth. But Chris Davies has got a hell of a task keeping everybody happy. Do you know what I mean? You know, but I think he's a good man manager, isn't he? And the squad believe in each other. So, you know, I think they'll work hard, take the chances when it comes. You know, and Chris Davies will fit people in if it's working. Do you know what I mean? So, right. So, other big news. Can't wait for this. Amazon. Brady documentary, 1st of August. The trailer looks incredible. You'll hear me a lot through these videos on this channel say the word incredible. It's one of my favourite words. But when you've got things that are going on with the club, can't can't stop saying it.
Yeah.
It is just incredible.
Yeah.
You know, that's the key word, isn't it? That's the word of this summer. Incredible.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 years anniversary of Nighthead as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, you know, we've been down there, you know, with the half ground closure. You know, we've been down on a Tuesday night. You know, thinking back, you know, watching the team when Ryan Woods was playing. You know, in the most recent history I'm talking about, when we were really poor. You know, we couldn't pass out from the back. We got Neil Etheridge. You know, absolutely distribution was shocking. Absolutely no clue. You know, the football was terrible. The facilities at the ground was terrible. There was no atmosphere because obviously the football was terrible. You know, so why we kept turning up is beyond me. But you know, we love the club, don't we? And it's through thick and thin. You know, and now we're being rewarded for the good times. And you know, personally for me, Nighthead, you know, if I could kiss them, I would kiss them. You know, I'm so touched by what they've turned our club into. You know, it's just excitement after excitement. It's just announcement after announcement. I mean, you know, I don't know if it's true or not, but the 15 billion that he's just ploughed into Trump's idea with his natural gas plant in America just shows, you know, how strong Nighthead are as an organisation. You know, the marketing, the staff people that they've brought in. You know, obviously the groundsman from Leicester. You know, obviously appointed a new CEO. You know, communications director. You know, the list is endless with the club. You know, they're getting the best people that they can get around to move this club in all the directions. All the projects that they've got with the sports quarter, they're getting top people involved. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, again, this word, incredible. It is, isn't it? It is just incredible. So, fortunately, because we're out sunning ourselves and we're on holiday, we're going to miss tomorrow's head-to-heads. So normally we'd like to do match previews and match reviews, you know, and stuff like that. That's what we will be doing on this channel. So unfortunately, yeah, both head-to-head weekends, so Burton and Crewe tomorrow and then Port Vale and Northampton. Fortunately, we're going to miss them, but we are going to do previews, match predictions, and then we may follow up with videos on our thoughts, you know, looking at the highlights and stuff like that if we can't watch the games live. But it looks like the full match review will be at Forest, so looking forward to that, because that's going to be a hell of a test, hell of an occasion, you know, for Trev, Super Trev. You know, I believe that the statue is going to be revealed. You know,
can't wait to see
foundations have gone in apparently down at the ground, so you know that's a class touch. You know, from the club, isn't it? So, so yeah. So I mean, this is our first proper video. So you know, if you like it, like and subscribe. You know, comment. You know, keep them nice, keep them friendly. Like I say, we're only doing this as a bit of fun. So we talk about football all the time. My memory is shocking. So I have to have Alfie keep reminding me of different fixtures, goal scorers and stuff like that. Hence why I've got the pad down here. But do you know what? I just thought it'd be cool just to record it. You know, we're on an incredible journey with the club. You know, I want to look back on it, you know, because football's quite, you know, short-term thing, isn't it? It's success. You know, you have the good times and the bad times. At the minute, we're having the good times, and I'm going to record it. I'm going to record every minute of it that we can. Yeah, so obviously he's my wingman, so don't go any Blues matches without him. So, you know, like I say, if you like the content, or if you've got any advice or any subjects you want to cover, the channel's only going to grow and grow and grow. So, you know, appreciate your feedback, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.